Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Another episode of Fight Court. I'm Dean Thomas. I got my man Ryan Quinn, as always, riding shotgun. Ryan, what's popping with you, homeboy?
Not much. How about you? What's going on? You had a big weekend?
Well, you know, every weekend for me is a big weekend. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm living the life, baby. I am living the life. But no, it was a big weekend, man. A big weekend of fights. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, we had Gian Silva and Diego Lopes all on the same weekend. It was fantastic. What was your moment of the weekend?
Uh, I feel like Canelo and Crawford did overshadow everything, but that's already like the worlds are colliding on both subjects right now. That being said, I felt that the Noche it was a good night of fights. Can't wait to talk about the main event and the fight nerds for that matter. I got a lot to say about them and how the worlds are colliding, between the UFC and boxing again. Can't believe we're there again, but we'll figure that out. What about you? What do you think was the biggest part?
Yeah, obviously the Terence Crawford Canelo fight was a success. I don't want to say a huge success. When you think about these mega events, the one that comes to mind obviously is Mayweather McGregor, and that was a huge success for everybody. Mayweather won, which was great for boxing. Conor fought well, which was great for MMA. Both guys made money. Everybody was happy. It was kind of a very entertaining fight. So it was a huge success. But I would say that the UFC's first shot, or Zuffa's first attempt at boxing with Dana at the helm, TKO on Netflix, it was a success, not a huge success, but it had its problems, I thought. I thought the event was too slow. I thought for Dana's first time going into the UFC, the criticisms that he had with boxing, and I know you can't do it overnight in his first show. I know he can't just change it altogether, but I wish he had ingratiated a little bit more MMA, UFC style pacing to it and just a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit more because I'll be honest with you, man, I fell asleep and woke up during the main, like at the main, like as soon as the main event started. Like
One
I fell
o'clock.
asleep during the boxing.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. I was like, holy shit. I had to rewatch the last half of the fight. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully they'll narrow that down. I think Dana's got his foot in the door. He could see what they were doing, what not to do next time. Uh, let's judge that like 3 events from now.
Yeah,
Let's.
well, I'm not criticizing it
Uh,
by any stretch, man. Like a lot of people are, I mean, it's like, dude, it's his first time doing a boxing event, and you got two of the biggest. I mean, he tackled so much with doing this. So I mean, you can't expect perfection out of his first attempt. But you know, Dana, like Dana's going to get it right. So
right.
without being a complete like asshole, Dana's going to get it right. So, but I thought that despite my little quirks that I'm saying right now, I still thought it was a huge success. Um, and it was a very good weekend for Terence Crawford. He finally got his flowers. He finally got the recognition that he deserved, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. I mean, it sucks that he's going to be 38. He doesn't have a lot left, but
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what he can do within the next. Maybe he made 2 years left. What he does in these next 2 years.
So, how do you think the commentary crew did?
I thought, I thought the pre-show with Mario Lopez, um, Antonio Tarver, Mike Coppinger, and damn, I'm forgetting the fourth. See, this is my problem. I thought the pre-show was very, very clumsy.
Yeah,
I thought it
I
was clunky.
I was hoping that they were going to clean that up from Tyson Jake Paul, and it
Yeah,
looks like they didn't. Um, yeah, I'm with you on that.
but I'm not sure who was in charge of that portion of it, but that was extremely clunky. The chemistry was bad. Mario Lopez is not an experienced leading man in that spot, so it was hard for him, and it's just a tough spot. And so I'm not criticizing these guys. It's just for that spot, they needed a little bit more experience there. Like it could have. I know Brandon Fitzgerald was going. I mean, they probably could have had. But you want a familiar face, so you use a guy like Mario Lopez, right? You use him. He's experienced enough in boxing, but he's just not a leading man for that role. So I thought that the post show was better. I think they warmed up a little bit. The post show was better, but the pre show was really clumsy. The desk, or not the desk, but the broadcast. John Anik. John Anik is the best in the
He
business.
is. He
It is
crushed it. I wrote him a message like, "You
yeah,
fucking crushed it." I was so happy.
yeah.
He's awesome. I love John Anik.
He's he's the essence of hard work. He doesn't come from this background of Syracuse broadcasting. Like he went to like a community college for broadcasting, but he
Wow.
does so much work on his craft, and he is the best man. And he can transition into any role and do any job and nail it essentially every time. And John Anik is the best. I mean,
I
that, I can't stress that enough.
I want to give him some flowers right now because I don't think people give credit how difficult it is to be effective if you're somebody like John Anik in MMA and then going into boxing. Like when he came to the UFC, I remember I think it was a Fuel TV card way back when. It was his debut. He replaced Mike Goldberg, who everybody loved. MMA fans are fickle. They're gonna, oh, who's this new
Who's
guy?
this guy? Man, man,
Yeah.
man, man, man.
And he crushed it. Like, I mean, he worked his way in. He showed you could tell he's very humble in his approach. He doesn't pretend he knows things. He gives, the more experienced combat athlete the spotlight when something needs to be explained. He's fantastic. He really is. And he did really well with this fight too. Um, I was a little disappointed in Max Kellerman.
I think Max Kellerman was a bit rusty.
Yeah.
I don't think that his role on the broadcast during the fight was that bad. I thought it was pretty good. I thought Andre Ward was really good.
But Andre
But I
Ward
just
was
think that I thought that Max Kellerman's post fight interview was he looked I don't know if he was nervous but he was a bit shaky.
I felt like he kept waiting for Canelo to win. Like the whole fight, I felt he kept saying he kept waiting for Canelo's size to show up. That's what it felt like when you're, oh, well, when he gets hit, we'll see how hard that one was. It was like, come on, well, that's like, let's pivot. Crawford is making some really good moves right now. Like that's how I felt like it. And I don't know, like John Anik is a boxing encyclopedia. I mean, not John Anik, Max Kellerman, and maybe I don't know, like he knows the history of boxing. He knows boxing. I just thought he'd be a little bit more influential in the conversation than he was. Maybe, like you said, he was rusty. Maybe he'll pick it up for the next one.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's been in the light. He
Yeah,
hasn't I can't even remember the last time we've seen him. Like he hasn't done commentary since what? HBO boxing? Like I don't know. Like I'm not sure
no,
when the
yeah,
last time he did commentary was. And he did TV for a while and he was great on that. I think Max Kellerman is one of the best to ever do it. He was just a little rusty, I think, just from not having been in this position for a while. And the UFC or Dana did a good job. Keep referring to it as the UFC, but
yeah, yeah.
TKO did a good job of hiring him and getting him back into the mix because I do think that now him getting warmed up, getting his feet wet again, that if he decides to give it another shot, I think he's going to be fantastic. I just think that he was a bit rusty.
Yeah, I think he'll grow into it again. He'll grow into it again. He did a funny. It's old now. Somebody on YouTube did a spoof 30 for 30. The ESPN documentary of
Hmm.
the Rocky Four fight, and Max Kellerman was a big voice in it. And he was so funny. He was like, Rocky basically stopped the Cold War. it was just I'll send it to you. It's funny, but no, I'm a big Max Kellerman fan. I thought he was good when he was on First Take. That didn't work out for him and Stephen A. But um, yeah, like you said, Rusty's a good word. Rusty's a good word.
Andre Ward, I thought was fantastic. He looked comfortable. Um, so it's hard because when you see these two guys with John Anik, you obviously you kind of want to make the comparison with Joe Rogan and DC, right? Like it's kind of natural for us to be like, oh, well, it's not. But John is so good that he just seamlessly can work with anybody. Like he can work with anybody. And while the chemistry is not like what we see John Anik and DC and Joe Rogan, I still thought it was strong enough, especially for a first attempt. So I thought that they did a good job on their first attempt. And I'm more than more than excited about watching them do it again.
Sorry, my mic was off. Absolutely. So the fight, yeah, I thought that a little slow moving. I didn't. I kind of expected that. A lot of people thought it was a boring fight, but it was a chess match. Crawford couldn't take chances right away. There was size he needed to worry about. Canelo does look a little bit slower, but I thought that Canelo was brilliant in picking. I mean, Crawford was brilliant in picking his shots, picking his situations, and just his head movement with his punches was fantastic. I loved what I saw.
So whenever we talk about compelling fights, it's not just the fight itself, it's what surrounds the fight. There's just so much into it when we talk about what makes a good fight. But the majority of what makes a good fight, obviously the action of the fight, but the narrative behind it. Because when you think about this fight, if it was two other guys that fought like this, we would have been like, yo, this is a boring fight. For sure. For sure no one would have paid attention to it. We'd have been like, yo, this is but when you think about this is Canelo Alvarez, a guy who one of the greatest boxers of our lifetime, you know, and he gets pretty much shut out the way he got shut out. And Terence Crawford, who's undefeated, who never really got his due. Just the storyline made the fight better than it actually was. And not to take a, and when I say the fight, I mean the fight itself, the back and forth between the action between the two. But the performance of Terence Crawford was brilliant. Like his boxing was masterful. It was a masterclass in boxing. Like his movement, him shifting out to his right after after
Yes,
combinations. I mean, it was a masterpiece. But the fight itself, if it was two other guys, we would have probably said it wasn't that great of a fight. But the storyline behind it and the fact that Terence Crawford was able to do this made up for it.
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Again, it was the first fight. Big splash. Looking forward to the next one. Do they have the next one signed up or no? I can't see.
I
Is it
don't
even going to
know.
happen this year?
I don't know what they're going to do. I could only imagine. Terence Crawford's talk about staying up at that weight, and I'm not sure if he said he was going to go up to 175 because that would be interesting. Like if he went up to 175 and fought Bivol, like that would be a fight right there.
Yeah,
Cause like
big jump up.
that's a big jump up, and that's a lot to deal with. Like Bivol is quick, and that would be a lot to deal with.
He's
So
got to do it now. Like you say, he's 38. He's got to do
yeah,
it.
like if he's going to do it, like now's the time.
Yeah,
And now after that performance, if he does it soon enough and he can keep his name out there, he could be the A side type guy. Because think about this fight, especially when you talk about the paydays. Like Canelo made like a lot more than Crawford because Canelo was the A side. Let's be
yeah.
fair. Canelo was the A side. But now Terence Crawford put on a performance and he's got the name recognition now that if he jumps out and keeps his name out there and just, Ilia Topuria is helping him. But if he can keep his name out there, he can be the A side in the Bivol fight.
I think that's the one to do. They got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
They gotta do it. Hopefully, though. I mean, what September, maybe December, probably not though.
That's
Probably like
way too soon.
Super Bowl weekend.
Especially for
Yeah,
boxing.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
Super Bowl weekend would be the appropriate time. Um, but yeah, no, I thought it was great. I give it an A. Especially for the first one. I'm pumped. It's on Netflix. I even turned it on again a little bit today to watch. Good stuff. And Netflix is doing good shit. So let's shift. Noche, what did you think about the main event?
Man, I that fight, it could have been anybody in that fight, and it would have been a barn burner. I mean, that was a really so again storylines. Now, regardless of who it was, Diego Lopez, Gian Silva, just the back and forth of that fight, like two guys getting hurt, and despite listen to this, John Silva might have lost that first round 10-8 and looked good doing like I've never
Yeah,
seen a guy lose a round that bad and still look kind of good.
right.
I was like, yo, he got beat up the first round and he still looked pretty good. He's a dog, man. He is the best fighting nerd for sure. He is an absolute dog because even when the round was over and he got up, he was like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like it was inspiring to watch these guys fight. And people think I'm hard on fighters. You will not hear me say a bad word about these guys.
Yeah, I want to get into the fight nerds shortly after this. But I felt that, yeah, like you said, he got beat up, but he still, like, he had, especially in the second round, there was one window where it's like, oh, did he just do it? He came forward and, like, you couldn't tell that he got beat up there like 3 minutes before, 4 minutes before. I felt that Diego, he just did what he was going to do. He stalked him down the best he could. He took the cage away from Gene where he had to land combinations. And overall, his cleaner boxing and his heavy hands just outweighed the explosiveness and the rangy striking that Gene has to offer. And not to mention the wrestling. Obviously there was some waist locks, which he threw in there. Landed some ground and pound, got some ground control. Um, we all knew Diego Lopes was the real deal, or is the real deal. What happens next for him? Not sure. Does he get a title shot right away? I don't know. I don't think so. But so back to Gene. There was some. I don't know if this is even true. I saw a couple of posts. I think it might have been crap, but he pushed Mick Maynard after. Did you see that?
No,
Or
I didn't see that.
I saw after he pushed Mick Maynard, and then I saw a post. I like I said, I think it might have been crap. Where well, actually, you would have heard. It definitely was crap. Now that you would have heard this, but they said that, like, oh, he's never fighting in the UFC again, like about Gene. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like,
That would be that I don't know if they could let him go.
yeah, you can't let him go.
You can't let him go.
Um,
Mick gonna have to eat that one. You gotta give him
yeah,
a pass.
yeah, yeah. You gotta you fine him or something. I don't know. Like, I'm sure actually, if it's in the cage, their commission's involved anyway, so that's up to
Yeah.
them. It's really not up to the UFC. And we've seen more egregious things stay put. But so he lost, and Fight Nerds had a loss the week prior. Why? Oh, Kyle Bahio, and everyone's like talking about fight. I was so worried this was going to happen because they are such a good team. I was so worried this. Everyone's like, "Oh, this team, are they for real or not?" Because I guess they had two losses in a row, and I guess within the last 6 months they had four guys undefeated or no longer undefeated. Who cares? I look at it like this: they exploded on the scene. And I know I made this comparison with you before. Do you remember a while ago? I think it was 2017. American Top Team's record was not as good as 2016 or something like that. And you said, like, what's happening here? And I look at it like this: when you are ranked 12th, 13th in the division, and you're fighting 9 and 10, you probably have a better chance at upsetting 9 or 10 than if you're ranked 9 or 10 and you're fighting 2 or 3 or 4. So there's going to be more. When you level up the level of competition, I liken it to the scheduling format for the NFL. You have 3 games on your schedule the following year where teams place the same place you did in your division. So in theory, you have a similar record to similar teams, but you're going to jump up in some areas. And I think that's what's happening here is they're forced to jump up and fight harder competition. So those losses are going to happen. I don't think that, I mean, granted, losses suck. I don't think the team needs to change anything. I think that they just need to take these losses and move, and the Fight Nerds are still going to be a top team for at least the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Who thought that they were going to be undefeated for the rest of the duration of the
For real.
longevity of the team?
Yeah.
Like, no, right? We've had weekends, and you know this dealing with fight teams. You have weekends where you take 4 guys to fight, all of them win, and then the next weekend you take another 4 and all of them lose.
All of them lose.
Like,
Yeah. It
this
sucks.
this happens. It happens. Like, you go on these spells of, damn, man, we can't buy a win. Like, it just happens. Like, and the biggest part of that is just the morale of the team might go down, and they might start losing a little bit of confidence. So the hardest part with them is just maintaining their confidence.
Right.
So that's going to be the most difficult part, because skill wise, they're still as good as they were. But like you said, they're just fighting better guys now. And they're a small team, and they're fighting better guys from all over the world, from all these different teams in the best of their areas. It's not going to always work out for you. So we can't be hard on the Fighting Nerds because have this slump right now. It happens to everybody. So I remember there was a time where I was coaching and I was just like, man, I'm really bad as a coach. Like
Yeah, I've
I
been there.
can't get any of my guys to win. I couldn't do it. Like we were so bad. I was like, I can't get any of my guys to win, and and I just couldn't motivate them. It was really bad. And then it turns around, and then next thing you know, people coach of the year. It's
Yep.
like, not me, man. It's just the wave of the game.
In 2019, my amateurs, they started the year 2-9. And 2-9, oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And then we went on a 11 fight streak. We won 11 in a row. Just boom, just start banging them out, and we won 3 titles in that run, or before the year ended. And then we lost 2 in a row at the end. But that's all right, whatever. But either way, exactly what you said. Like, it's just part of the game. It's like, look, you could be the best baseball player and you can go 0 for 4, or you can even go 0 for 12 these days, and everyone's like, oh, he's still the best player, MVP. Like, it's just
Uh,
it's a long game.
It's the
It's
sample
life.
size of fighting is so small that
Yeah,
we just tend to see one or two fights and then make these really bad assessments and have these bad opinions or great opinions about somebody based off of a couple of things. And I try not to do that. I try to view fighters from a bigger perspective. So even my assessment of Hoofy, who I was really high on, like I had a really high expectation for him, not based off of just what he did to like Bobby Green, but basically just watching his movement and hearing it, like also taking into account like what people said about him, just watching his movement. So my expectations were high on him based on what I thought his potential could be.
right.
So not just the small sample size, but what I thought his potential could be. And then he showed me something different that might have been more indicative of where he actually is skill wise. Because we didn't get to see that part. So then when I saw that, I was like, all right, yeah, so he's probably not as good as I thought he was in my head.
Hmm.
Because now I'm seeing just his decision making and just so again, and I'm not doing it based off of the small sample size, but I'm doing it based off of what I think the potential of a fighter could be.
Right. So that being said, we've established that it's nothing to worry about. Who's the head coach of Fight Nerds again?
His name is Pablo. I don't know what his
All
last
right,
name
so
is.
Pablo works. So you're Pablo. What do you do with your team after this? Because now I'm not calling. If it's me, I'm not calling a team meeting. I don't want to put too much emphasis on something that I don't think is that important. But maybe I'm saying something before the first practice where everyone's there, the first training session. Hey guys, yeah, a little bit of a rut, whatever. We got to just get through this because that's part of the game. And then we'll assess what we're doing as a program. I'm not going to let you down. I mean, we're going to keep going forward. How are you handling that situation?
I mean, so the next big fight they have is Carlos Prates and Leon
Mm,
Edwards. I'm saying, all right, guys, yeah, for sure. You don't want to really make a big deal out of it and make these guys start questioning themselves. You kind of make it light. And hey guys, listen, we in a bit of a rut. It happens. It's expected, but now we got Carlos Prates fighting Leon Edwards. Let's rally behind him and let's just get this back one fight at a time.
yep.
So let's not think about everybody jumping back on the horse and trying to make this work, but one fight at a time. The next big one in November, let's just get this one back, and then let's get you guys back on one at a time because they can use that right now. Just one at a time. Everybody rally behind the guy, the next guy, and then they'll have some. Then they might even have a loss here and there on the way back. But in terms of getting them back to proper form, one at a time.
Bingo. I'm with it. Yeah, I would hate for that team to get discouraged. So much talent. They're gonna have quite a run. They're so fun to watch. They're fun for the sport with their glasses, and they're clearly there's a lot of team unity there. So I hope they figure it out. Um, Now I saw a little bit of this after. I didn't see all of it, but Ilia and Crawford are mouthing back and forth. Ilia said he drunk texted him or something like that. Like what happened?
I don't really know. I know that Ilia's kind of had it out for Crawford for a while now. And I think it's because I truly, because Ilia, if you look at the way Ilia fights, he's modeled his fighting style after Canelo.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Like you can watch Ilia fight and see the influence of Canelo. So even before this fight happened with Canelo and Crawford, Ilia had already went at Crawford saying that he would knock him out. And I think it's he's just got it out for him because of the whole Canelo thing. So when he said that, Crawford just kind of laughed it off, da 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 da. And then I think it just kind of now that Crawford won, Ilia, it's a good time for Ilia to just start taking shots at him because again, like these guys, understand this, Ryan, understand this. These guys are doing nothing different than when podcasters are looking for ways to increase the algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
it. This is
Sound
it.
bites. Sound bites.
Yeah, that's it. This is it. Who's hot right now? How do I attach myself to him and get more views? Right now, Crawford is hot. Ilia had already planted a seed, and it makes sense for him to continue this thing going while Crawford is still hot. So I'll knock you out. You came out to my walkout song.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I mean that is a pretty good song, though.
It is.
It is a good walkout song.
Sorry, I'm getting over a cold and coughing left and right. But it's funny. When that happens, I'm kind of like, damn, I thought we were past this, this whole MMA versus boxing thing. But I guess that's what sells, especially with boxing with this now. Because if you look back historically, it happens a lot. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you fans know McGregor Mayweather was not the beginning of this bullshit. You know, we've had this forever. Like, if you go way back, you know, there was even Tyson versus Hoist Gracie. There was those signs in the
I
NBA.
mean, Muhammad Ali fought Antonio Inoki.
Yes, yes. So it's this is nothing new. What else was there? Oh, there was Floyd Mayweather, there was Ronda. There
Oh
was
yeah.
you know,
Remember when Floyd said, "Yo, who is Ron Rousey?"
yeah, that's all you got to hear. That's all you
Oh
got to
man, when
hear.
he said, I fell out, man. Yo, Floyd is funny. When Floyd wants to be funny, man, he make me laugh.
Yeah, he is. That whole family's funny. His uncle Jeff is hysterical. Um, there was Roy Jones versus Anderson Silva was talked about for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Chuck Liddell. There was somebody in that
Oh
mix.
well, let's not forget about the most important one of all time, Dean Thomas and
Oh
Ricardo
yes,
Vargas.
I almost missed it. Yeah, I hope. Holy moly, that was the one that actually had some weight to it.
That had some weight to it until Don King came and showed up to the event with $1 million in cash and got had the cops shut it down.
Oh, prick.
I was like, yo, man, this was gonna be the easiest fight of my life.
James Toney, Randy Couture.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I mean, this is going to happen. It's constantly going to be that crossover. Is there any weight to that fight right now? There
No.
might be later.
No, there's no way. I don't think there's any way to that fight
Yeah.
whatsoever. I can't see. Well, listen, Jake Paul's fighting Tank Davis, and Mike Tyson's fighting Floyd Mayweather. So like,
Oh God.
you never know what's going on in the world. This is why. Well, I'll get into this after, but just I can't say that it won't happen, but it's just very difficult for me to.
That was my fan.
I'm like, man, they shooting at your crib, man. What's going on? Now, I can't find a path of where I can see a world in which Ilia Topuria fights Terence Crawford. I don't see it. Like Terence Crawford, he's 38 now. Ilia's like 25.
And he's very busy. You
And
know.
he's got his hands full and yeah, I don't see a world in where this happens until like maybe 5 years from now, which at that point, who's gonna care?
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not with it. I mean, I like the way both are going in their separate directions right now. Plus, I think Dana has learned from his champ fights that whoever loses degrades, you know, the other division. Whoever loses in this one might degrade the other promotion altogether.
Yeah, for sure. I can't see a world where that is, but so to my point with all these different fights is I mean it really like all these mega fights and these exhibition fights, and it really changes the landscape of how combat sports is conducted.
Yeah.
Like the laws and the rules, because when we start talking about the Ali Act and you know TKO trying to make amendments, but we're dealing with a different time. Like
Hmm.
this is a very unique time in history for combat sports where Jake Paul was one of the highest paid boxers last year, or was it last year, the year before, whatever year,
Yeah.
one of the highest paid boxers. And this is a guy who completely just made up his own career.
For real.
Just made
For
up his
real.
own career. He just completely fabricated his way and constructed his own career and is one of the highest paid boxers, which is which is kind of unfair, right? When you got like so many other good boxers, but that's just not the way the landscape of combat sports is anymore.
Yeah, I used to really hate on what Jake Paul was doing, but then you have who was Amanda Serrano fighting? The Irish
Katie
girl.
Taylor.
Yes, okay, like look at the spotlight it put on them. And look at the spotlight it's putting on all these other boxers on those cards. So that's why I'm cool with it. It's giving some people some shine, some combat sports athletes a chance to make money. Is he ever going to co-promote with TKO? Probably not. Um, but yeah, I'm with you. Like first of all, I knew he was. They're not stupid. They ranked him for like a week or something like that. I knew as soon as some activity happened elsewhere, he was going to fall out of the rankings. But it is an interesting time because these circus fights are what sells, and it's what's getting people involved. And hopefully, people take like I make sure to point out whenever these circus fights happen. I'll go to work on Monday. Did you see this fight though on the undercard? But so they know like keep watching these people. That's what we got to take from this.
Well, the good thing about there is a very strong benefit to circus fights. It's opening our eyes up as to what we know what the value is in a fight.
Yeah.
Because most people think fighters get paid because they put their life on the line to actually like do combat. And that's not what we're noticing. That's not what we know is to be true. What we know to be true is that you get paid based on how popular you are.
Yep.
That is it. Like Jake Paul is living proof of that. You get paid based on how popular you are, not how much risk you're taking and because you're putting your life on the line. Because at the end of the day, anybody who's doing a combat sport puts their life on the line. And then people who do bare knuckle puts their life on the line just as much as any boxer or any MMA guy. It's all the same. But
Right.
Jake Paul is living proof, considering that I just said that he was one of the highest paid boxers of the year, and he's a guy who completely just made up his own career. But he had eyeballs on him.
I felt that he lost the Tommy Fury fight. Damn it. No, sorry. The Tommy Fury fight. And I know a lot of people had other opinions on that. I thought he handled it well. Then he went back to the circus stuff. Um, it's kind of funny. Like maybe what he should do is he should have a tournament for people to fight him. Like whoever wins the tournament fights him.
That would probably be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be like his own tough.
Yeah.
A reality show. He can make a whole reality show
Oh,
from it.
a reality show on who gets to fight Jake Paul because everybody wanted to fight. Remember, there was a time
Yeah.
where everybody wanted to fight Jake Paul.
I wanted to fight Jake Paul. I forgot he had somebody he had somebody pull out in like a week's notice or 5 days. And this is before like I was like back to training and everything. I just put on X, it was Twitter at the time. Hey, let's do it. And it got like 10,000 things. Oh yeah, he was a former MMA fighter. But like I was like, oh shit. If I'm getting that kind of traction, I can only imagine what people are getting.
Well, Jake Paul actually taught us a lot more than just
Mhm.
eyeballs get you paid, but he also taught us what good education and athleticism can do for because when
Yep.
Jake Paul first started boxing, I remember this because when he first boxed Ben Askren, even before like he was not that good.
No, he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. So when he wasn't that good, but he still talked the big game, and he wasn't that good. And then through the years, he's gotten really good in a
Yeah,
short amount of time, in a very short amount of time. And I think this just has to do with when you're trained properly with good people, you can get really good at boxing in a short amount of time, faster than what most people think.
absolutely.
And I think that that's the thing is that we've always thought, oh, you had to have started boxing since you were 8 and had to do the Olympics, and that's the only way to get good.
Mhm.
But Jake Paul taught us if you have good trainers and are dedicated to the craft, you can get good in a short amount of time. And he did.
Absolutely. He
He
did.
absolutely did.
I don't think those people, well, maybe they're out there. I mean, there's people everywhere, but he really can box. He really can throw hands, and he really knows the sweet science of creating angles, and he could throw, and he did get good in a short amount of time. He's clearly an athlete. You know, he had a good high school wrestling career. Um, his brother's athletic too, so you can tell it's in the genes. You know, his brother's doing really well in WWE. Um, yeah, so he did he did put a lot of spotlight on boxing, not the way we wanted, but it's there now, and hopefully TKO could ride the wave and plug the foundation correctly.
I'm not sure what to think about his match against Tank Davis, though. That's
No, no, no. He needs.
that's it. That seems a bit extreme, though. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that's about.
When
Why
is
he
that fight?
do that? I don't even. That's in
Yeah, it
November.
doesn't matter. We'll find out a week
Yeah,
before. We'll
that's
watch.
crazy to think that he's like Tank Davis like weighs like 135 pounds.
Yeah.
Like how like what is the allure in wanting to fight Tank Davis when you're Jake Paul?
I don't know, man. Some of those little guys, they're pretty quick. Maybe he can piece them up like a bumblebee.
I mean,
Boo.
at least if he fought Ryan Garcia, at least Ryan Garcia is like 5'11" or so. He's
Yeah.
tall, you know, like he
Uh-huh.
he probably is a little bit bigger, but Tank Davis is short and stocky. Like the fact that if Tank Davis has to get bigger to fight Jake Paul, he's gonna be such a little pudge ball.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna be having heavy hands, heavy shoulders by the
Yeah,
time
he's
it's the
gonna
third
he's
round.
gonna look bad. So yeah, that'll be yeah. I'm gonna watch though.
Of course we are. It's on
Case
Netflix.
in
I can't
point.
get it easier.
Case in point. Case in point. All right, what else is there? We covered everything this week. What
Yeah, we
else?
got everything important, man. We got everything. More stuff coming. More stuff coming. You and I, we're for those of you in South Florida, the end of October, Dean and I have been invited for a coaching speaking arrangement at Nova Southeastern University, sponsored by Florida State University. We're really pumped about it. We'll be talking to other college coaches. Well, college coaches, we aren't college coaches. So please tune in. We're pumped about it.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna school these dudes on how it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I was
saying?
thinking of opening up like, it's not that MMA fighters are tougher than everybody. Maybe baseball players, but I'm like, yeah, you don't know if it's there. Maybe I won't say that.
No, I do say we open up with that. I say we open up and just really disrespect the disrespectful way that everybody's like, who the hell these guys think they are? And
People
then
are
and I
walking
just
out.
hey, fight me.
Yeah, yeah.
Fight me. Come
Then
up,
some
come up to the stage.
then some D1 tight end comes up like, yeah, all right. I'm
Bit,
6'5",
bit, bit, bit,
40.
bit.
Yeah. Give me
Nah,
a
it'll be
wedgie on
fun
stage.
though. It'll be
Yeah.
fun though. I mean, I like doing things like this. Um, I like getting on the stage and presenting, especially when I'm prepared. Even when I'm
Mhm.
not prepared, I don't mind it. But it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be good to work with you. So we're gonna craft out
Yeah,
our
always.
our presentation. And if you have an opportunity, make sure y'all check that out. But Ryan, it's been real.
Of course.
We'll catch up again next week. Hopefully, some good stuff happens this week. Some good MMA stuff, because I don't want to talk politics.
Oh God, no. God, no. Oh,
Not talking politics, but hopefully, some good MMA stuff happens next week. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the show, hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. We will be back next week. And on that note, this court is adjourned.